MCX IPF presents Commodities Trade.
Commodity prices, as we know, are being driven by demand and supply. The last year has led to broken global supply chains and disruptions due to pandemic-led restrictions. Let's take a look at how the balance sheet looks like as markets counter pent-up demand, recovery led by money printing, carbon emission targets, China demand versus the rest of the world, COVID variant and vaccinations, and then there is the US infra package. Starting with the metal that's the best performer this year is copper. The copper market has been and is set to be in deficit since 2018 to 2022. The global production numbers that have seen a declining trend in 2019 and 20 are set to improve in this year by 5.3% and by 4.2% in 2022. The global consumption, also after dipping in 2020, is picking up in 2021, expected to gain up by 5.7% year-on-year and 4.9% next year. A more clear trend emerges from these numbers. The supply deficit and the declining global inventories tell you that the stocks are just at about 2 weeks of world demand. Pretty much the reason that the copper prices are near all-time highs. The other metal that I'm looking at is aluminum. The market has been tightening for this metal. The production is on an uptrend, barring a small blip that we saw in 2019. It has continued to gain. The global consumption has been a constant growth mode with expectation of a 10.2% of an increase in demand in this year. The difference between the production and consumption leaves us with an annual deficit of 1572 tons, but the global inventories are good, even declining on an year-on-year basis. That is the reason we are calling it a tightening market. And then there is zinc, where there is a surplus but likely to be a small one. The global production is on an uptick, with this year expected to see a 4.7% of a growth. The global consumption, as you can see, has seen a negative growth in past 3 years, while this year may see a growth by nearly 7.7%. The markets are in a slight surplus and the global inventories are quite comfortable.
MCX IPF presents Commodities Trade.
Brought to you by MCX IPF.